Hey everyone, welcome to the first of many Linux tutorials. I was recommended to do this by you guys on my Discord server, so that is what we are going to be doing today. Um, I'm going to assume that you already know how to partition a USB with like a ISO file and that sort of thing, how to get into your boot menu. If you don't, it is really easy. You can just use a program like Balena Etcher. Um, if you want me to make a tutorial, please comment down below and I will definitely do that. But assuming you already have that in your boot menu, you're going to select your USB drive that has your installation. We're going to be installing Arch Linux today. It is a little bit manual, but it's not too bad. There's a really nice install script that will do most of it for us. So we're going to go ahead and hit enter. You have a couple options. Default one is fine unless you want speech, but I do not, so I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. It will also just boot automatically in 10 seconds. Um, this can be a little bit daunting, especially if you don't have Ethernet. I'm going to be using Ethernet. There's plenty of tutorials online on how to use IWCTL to connect to Wi-Fi during the install. I will not be showing that off in this video. But it's also pretty easy to get Wi-Fi up and running once you're actually at a desktop interface. So I'm going to go ahead and show the install, assuming that you have Ethernet. Um, this might be a little bit slow too, because it is a very low-end PC that I'm using, because I don't want to use my main one, because I already have that one configured, and I don't want to risk breaking it. You're going to be on this screen right here, though. What we are going to do is type arch install and hit enter. And this is an install script that basically just does everything for you, because normally this is very manual, which you can totally do. It is fine, but this just makes it a lot easier. So it's going to take you to this screen. You can select your language, which I'm using English. You can select your keyboard layout. This looks good to me. If you do want to change it, you can hit enter and like select all that. You just hit escape to get back to where you were, or you can just hit back. Mirrors and repositories. This is going to be where you download packages. So to set this up, we're going to go ahead and hit enter. Everything on here that is already configured will have a plus. If it doesn't have a plus, that means you should be configuring it. So we're going to go ahead and select a region. And to actually select one, you're going to want to go ahead and hit spacebar. See how it puts a little bit of a X mark there? That is how you know it's working, and then you can just hit enter and it will grab your mirrors. We're not going to add custom servers. That is a bit more niche case scenario, so we're not really going to be doing that. But the next thing that we have to do is disk configuration and partitioning. You can use the best effort. This is going to be the easiest for most people. I like to partition myself, so I actually wiped all partitions using a tool called gparted. It's like a live ISO type thing. If you don't know how to do that, there's tutorials. If you don't want to bother doing that, you don't have to. You can 100% just use the best effort one. I'm going to do manual because I prefer doing it myself. So if you do want to do that, you can follow along. If not, just hit best effort. But I'm going to select my drive, which is this one right here. Looks like it is the right size with 476 gigabytes. So we're going to hit space. We're going to hit enter. And then here's the free space. So I'm going to go ahead and get this set up the way I want it. So I want to do 1, and then we're going to do GIB, like that. This is going to be mounted at my boot drive, which has to be FAT32. So we're going to go ahead and do /boot, and that is where it's going to mount. And hit enter. Now we're going to create another one. So we want to select free space again. Next up is going to be our swap. This is basically where your computer is going to use your SSD to offload your RAM storage if you fill up your RAM. For most PCs, you can do like 4 gigabytes to 8. I have on my main PC, I did like 32, which is stupid, like way more than you would need. But on a lower end system, I would try to keep it similarly matched to your RAM. Probably go with 8 if you have the storage for it. So we're just going to do 8, and we are going to go like this, like that, enter. And then we're going to go ahead and select Linux-swap. And the last one is going to be our root drive, so we're just going to hit enter. I'm not going to type anything here. And then we're going to select the format which we want. I want ext4. You can choose whatever you want. Each one has their own benefits, but ext4 is the easiest to work with in my opinion. It is the best for taking snapshots of your system. I've had some problems with BTRFS, so ext4 is the easiest in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and I'm going to do / which is root. That looks good to me, so I'm going to go and confirm and exit. Disk encryption, that's if you want it to be fully encrypted, which you can do. I'm not going to worry about that this time around, so I'm going to go ahead and hit back. And swap is set up. Bootloader is set to systemd, which I recommend for most people. If you don't want to, you can select whatever you want. Each has their own pros and cons. I like systemd better. I've had grub break on me a few times, but don't worry about unified kernels. That's not very important. As for the kernels page, though, what I do recommend is I recommend grabbing the Linux LTS kernel. That is long-term stability. That basically means that it is tested and released a bit later than the main Linux kernel. That way things aren't as broken, but if your OS does break from a kernel update, you have a secondary kernel to hopefully recover from. So I recommend getting at least 2 kernels. That way you have a backup option, because it can happen if you don't know what you're doing or you get a kernel that isn't stable and it gets messed up. It is always good to have a backup. So next is the host name. What do you want to name your PC? You can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name it Fury and hit enter. Authentication, that you can click on. This is going to make a root password. I recommend making it something secure. For tutorial purposes, I'm not going to make it very secure. I'm just going to do, I don't know, let's see. Like that, that'll work. It's going to ask you to type it again. And then this is where you can make your user accounts. So add a user, type my name like that, hit enter, do a password. Oops. And then it's going to ask you if your user should be a super user. I would recommend hitting yes. This is going to let you execute commands without having to be logged in as the root user. So yeah, definitely want that. We're going to go ahead and confirm and exit. We're not going to worry about U2F. Going to go ahead and hit back. Profile, go ahead and hit type. And this is going to be where you actually choose your layout. Do you want desktop, minimal, server, or Xorg? Xorg would be like if you're going to install your own desktop interface later. Server is just going to be a command line. Minimal is just like kind of the minimum you need for it to work, but I want a full desktop, so I'm going to do that. And these are going to be interfaces that you can use. So window managers are going to be a bit more complicated to use. You can see where it says environment type at the top. It shows you what installed packages it's going to need. I prefer KDE Plasma. That is probably the easiest to use. You can install multiple if you want. I don't recommend installing multiple here. I recommend doing that later, because sometimes if you have, like here, I'll show you an example here. If I select this and then right here, the greeter, if you have one greeter managing like multiple environments, it can get a little broken. So we're just going to do KDE Plasma. As far as graphics driver, this is an Intel computer, so I'm just going to go ahead and select Intel open source. Make sure to select which one you have. If you have NVIDIA, select NVIDIA. If you don't, you can do AMD or Intel. This one is just a simple Intel PC, so we're going to go ahead and select Intel. That is graphics. Your CPU drivers will be installed automatically, so don't worry about that. As far as greeter, I just go with the default. It's simple enough. It works. It has basic customizations, so I like that one. You can also just look up what you want as well. Each one has their own little quirks and such, but SDDM is not that bad. Applications is going to be like, do you want Bluetooth, audio, print services? I would like Bluetooth, so I will hit yes on that. Audio, Pipewire is the newest one. Newer devices use that, so I would go ahead and select Pipewire. Power management, not really gonna mess with that. But yeah, can go ahead and hit back. Network configuration, this will let you do like, do you want network manager, like that stuff. I'm just gonna copy the ISO network configuration to the installation, which if you configured Wi-Fi, it will just add it to your install. But I'm using Ethernet, so it doesn't really matter all that much. Additional packages is going to load repositories from your mirror that you chose earlier. Might take a little bit of time, but this is if you want additional packages. This is more so if you know what you are doing specifically, but it is a very long list, so we are going to skip that because that is stuff we're going to worry about later. Next up is time zone. So go ahead and select your time zone. I am Pacific time, so I am going to hit US Pacific. There we go. NTP is going to sync your time with your computer clock, so you definitely want that. Next up is save configuration. That will actually save this config as a preset to your installation medium. I don't really need to do that, so I'm just going to go ahead and hit install. It's going to give you a prompt, going to show you all the changes you have done. So you have two options. Do you want to do it? No. Do you want to? Yes, you can. So we're just going to go ahead and hit yes. And then it's going to give you a little countdown. And then it will start grabbing everything that it needs to do. It's going to create the partitions that you set. It's going to start downloading packages. It's going to install your desktop environment, all that good stuff. So just give this some time and we will be back when it is done. All right, so now it is installed. So installation complete, took about 3 minutes for me. So you can do like different options here. This is if you want to like do some extra stuff after installing. But I'm just gonna reboot my system like that. So just give it a little bit. Ignore the watchdog error things, that doesn't really matter. Now you can unplug your installation medium. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And we are gonna wait for the PC to boot up, which shouldn't take too long. Let me just put the USB drive to the side here. There we go. It is booting up already. And there we go. So now you have your little layout. As you can see, Plasma, Wayland, that is the interface we chose. So go ahead and enter your password. It's going to load up. And here we are. This is Arch Linux with KDE Plasma. So we can go ahead and hit next. Hit next. Hit next again. It's just showing you kind of the stuff you can do. We're just not going to share anything with them, and we're going to hit finish. So now there's a few things that you might want to do to get your install working the rest of the way. As you can see over here too, shows like network info. If it shows out like a blanked out version like that, that is because network manager is not running. That is for Wi-Fi. We can get that running later. If you do need that running, there are plenty of tutorials online. But we're going to do console real quick. What we want to do is update the system, but we also want a web browser. So do sudo pacman -s is going to grab that package that is telling your package manager to install. And we're going to do Firefox and hit enter. It's going to ask for your password. It might not look like you're typing anything, but it is. It's just so you can't see the words. Go ahead and hit enter. Hit enter again. It's going to go ahead and download. And there you go. Now, if you hit your little key, you should see Firefox, and that works. So we can go ahead and open that up. As you can see, it works flawlessly. Yeah, that is a web browser. So next, what we want to do is actually do a system update. So it's very similar. Pacman -s, and we're going to do yu, which updates and upgrades. So hit enter on that. Nothing to do. Looks like our system is up to date. So typically it will be up to date during the install if you use internet, because it is actually gonna connect and download the most recent packages. But that is going to be how you update your system. After your system is up to date, you just want to do a quick reboot. But yeah, that is how to do a basic install. If you actually go in here, you're going to see that it is very lackluster of what you actually have installed. It is quite literally just the bare minimum to get an operating system running. That is the nice thing about Arch. You don't have a ton of packages pre-installed. You can use something like the Discover Store, and it will actually grab packages that you can download. Just give it some time here. But yeah, you can download stuff like VLC, Telegram, Brave if you want that, Frida, like there's a ton of stuff. You can even search. So like if you are doing what I'm doing, like if you stream, make videos, you can do OBS, hit enter. You can download OBS right from here. You can also do Flatpaks, which is another way to get stuff. So if you wanted like that, you can just do sudo pacman -s. You want like flat hub, which I believe it is. Or no, is it? Might be Flatpak. Oops. Flatpak? Yeah, it's Flatpak. So you can go ahead and install that. That is another way of doing things. If you want more tutorials, though, on Linux, go ahead and leave a comment down below what you would like to see next, and I can go ahead and get that out for you. As for what we are going to do now, though, we are going to go ahead and shut down this system, which is as easy as doing sudo shutdown now, and hit enter and type your password, or you can just do it the basic way. But using command line is a good way to teach yourself how to get around the system. It can be scary, but doing simple things in the terminal is a way to warm up to it. But that is about it. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Comment down below what you would like to see next. And I will see you in the next video. You are now an Arch Linux user. Bye-bye. All right, one last quick little thing I want to throw in here is this is the same Arch install. This is just on my actual like gaming PC, but this is what you can do with it. Like you can fully customize everything. You can do widgets, all that good stuff. You can actually make your terminal custom like this. So I actually have a command called fastfetch, which you can also install. As you can see, you can do like custom images. So I have my boyfriend. The original image is this. Don't worry about that. But if you want tutorials on how to do stuff like that, go ahead and let me know. Like I can totally show you guys how to do a bunch of cool stuff. So if that is something you want to do and see, let me know. You can do a lot of customization with this operating system. You can put like top bars up here. You can customize the layout down here. This is still KDE Plasma. There is so much you can do with this. So go ahead and let me know in the comments. And yeah, peace out.